Have you ever felt nervous right before delivering a speech to the point where you're worried your message won't land with your audience the way that you intended? Even Mark Rober, a former NASA engineer turned YouTuber who's used to talking in front of 24 million subscribers, was clearly nervous delivering a speech during MIT's Commencement, which actually is where I graduated from last year and taught communication and public speaking. But what if I were to tell you that your nerves are actually what can make your speech great? In this week's edition of Speaker Film Study, I'll share 4 ways that you can channel your own nerves into an unforgettable speech, just like Mark did here. Let's see if you can spot the first tip.
It's hot, and you know what I love to do on a beautiful, sunny, 95-degree summer day? Wear a big black blanket.
Now watch what he does differently here.
At least I'm up here in the shade. You'd think the best engineering school on the planet could design a bigger awning for everyone.
The commonality between these 2 clips is that Mark creates a spark with his intro, but he uses 2 different approaches. The first is the fake out method. This is where you make people laugh by saying the exact opposite thing that they'll expect.
I assumed that I was being asked to honor somebody else who was receiving the Mark Twain Prize, and I thought, oh my God, what a hassle. I mean, seriously, who would put me through this?
You can either up front anticipate your audience's state of mind, whether they're hot under the sun or expecting you to be grateful for winning an award, and then you zag. Or you can do what I call the playful rib. This is where you play up your audience, but you make a slight dig at them in a way that no one would find offensive.
You know, I was a little confused about why me, but then I was told that you get your highest approval ratings when a biracial African guy is standing next to you, so
Once you see your audience laugh, I promise you this will put your nerves way at ease. And more importantly, when you get your audience to physically react, you're actually creating little sparks in their brain called dopamine hits that will keep them really engaged. But the next thing that Mark does is one of my favorite tactics for calming your nerves while captivating your audience. Watch how he articulates the importance of reframing failures.
When Super Mario Bros. First came out, my friends and I became obsessed with making it to the castle and rescuing Princess Peach from the evil Bowser. The focus and obsession is about beating the game, not how dumb you might look if you get hit by a sliding green shell.
This is very similar to what Joe Biden says here.
Stuttering, when you think about it, is the only handicap that people still laugh about. If I said to you when I was a kid I had a cleft palate and people made fun of me, or I had a withered arm, no one would smile.
Both Mark and Joe are using what I call anchoring metaphors. Anchoring metaphors are metaphors that people can easily understand to drive the point home. And in particular, when you draw a metaphor from personal experience, you'll naturally speak more fluidly because you're speaking from the heart, rather than trying to catch every line from a script. It's particularly powerful because your audience's brains are hardwired to remember how they felt hearing a story that personally resonates with them, much better than facts or figures. Sometimes though, it's really hard to come up with that anchoring metaphor. So I like to teach my clients what you're about to see right here.
I'm not really used to this public speaking thing, so the music kicks in. So if you'll just give me a moment, right here, let's see. There we go. All right, that's better.
The key here is to design your environment. The key question that you need to ask yourself is, how can you set yourself up for success while on stage? Because even if you're not presenting in front of a hostile crowd, anytime you're presenting in front of hundreds or thousands of people, it can really feel like that. So for Mark, speaking with background music is a hallmark of his YouTube videos where he's very comfortable. Now you may not have that tech at your disposal, but almost anyone can do exactly what Coach Deion Sanders does right here when he's delivering a heartfelt speech to his team.
What coaches? This is our defensive back coach right now, Kevin Matthews. Stand up, Kevin.
Hey, so that's what the other times, the times you watch film, I give it to him every Thursday. He go through every last one of them to see who's actually putting in that time.
He's engaging with an ally in the crowd. Whenever you know that someone in the crowd will have your back, it never hurts to prep them in advance and cede the floor to them so that they can support you publicly. Now, when you can modify your environment like this to make you feel more comfortable, you'll feel a dramatic difference when it comes to your nerves. But the one thing that Mark Rober does, which I find to be most applicable to any beginning level public speaker, is this.
3 pieces of advice based off my life experience.
This segue is what I call the 3-point structure. This makes your speech much easier to follow for your audience. For each point that he mentions, see if you can figure out exactly what he's doing.
Is to embrace naive optimism. That leads to my second of 3 pieces of advice to maximize your chance of positively impacting the world, which is to frame your failures. For my third and final bit of advice is to foster your relationships.
This technique is what I call bluff, or bottom line up front. The last thing you want to do is that you begin to ramble so much that your audience begins to wonder, the heck is he trying to say? Or where is she going with this? Instead, state one single sentence that encapsulates the entirety of your key point. Just as your anchoring metaphors help you anchor your audience around a very emotional and relatable story, your bottom line up front will help you stay more on topic, which is particularly important because we tend to forget those anecdotes or details in our own scripts. And my favorite part about the 3-point structure that Mark uses is that he consistently references it throughout the duration of his speech so that people won't forget. Watch what he does at the very end.
To my first point, I will embrace my naive optimism that my hat will actually get airborne. But if not, to my second point, if it goes haywire and I accidentally blow up E53, I can reframe the failure as an opportunity to renovate a very old and sketchy building. Maybe this time we'll even add a few windows. And then to my third point, when I get sued by the faculty, I will foster the relationship I have with my defense lawyers.
Now, to be very clear, a memorable speech does not absolutely require that 3-point structure. In fact, I would strongly recommend that you not even write a script. And this speech by Football Hall of Famer Deion Sanders not only exemplifies exactly how that's done, but also how you don't even need a script to deliver your next speech. Check it out.